Hi people, today we're going to read My Furry Foster Family. Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe down below or give it a thumbs up. Dad, Tim Takano, Mom, Cindy Takano, me, Kata Takano, Ollie, Hannah Miller, my best friend, Joss Lawrence, Happy Tails Rescue. A new cockatoo. I sat down on the couch next to Mom. Her laptop was open. She was watching videos of parrots. Yip, yip, yip. Ollie, our mini dachshund, pawed my leg. I picked him up. He wanted to watch the parrots too. We were watching videos of Moluccan cockatoos. They are a type of parrot. Moluccan cockatoos has fluffy, light pink feathers. When excited, the birds raise their long feathers on their heads. I'm happy we're getting a cockatoo to foster, I said. Mom smiled. Me too, Kata, she said. There sure are special birds. My family fosters homeless animals from Happy Tails Rescue. Mom, Dad, and I take care of pets until they find their forever homes. Once in a while, we adopt a foster animal ourselves. Happy Tail Rescue helps mostly dogs and cats. Sometimes they'll help homeless rabbits, snakes, and even horses. The Parrot Palace is a special rescue just for parrots. They asked Happy Tails for a foster family for one of their birds. They wanted a family who had spent time with parrots before. Happy Tails called us. I had never had a bird, neither had Dad. But when Mom was little, she had an uncle who had parrots. She helped him take care of them nearly every day. Now we were getting a cockatoo named Tiki to foster. The picture we got of Tiki didn't look like the cockatoos in the videos. Tiki didn't have fluffy pink feathers. In fact, she had no feathers on her chest at all. The skin on her chest was dry and gray. She did have feathers on the rest of her body and her head though. Why does Tiki have feathers missing? I asked. Did they fall out? Is Tiki sick? Poor thing, Mom said. Cockatoos need lots of attention. Tiki's owner didn't spend enough time with her. Sometimes cockatoos pull out their feathers if they get bored or sad. I hugged Ollie. I love spending time with all of our animals. Mom closed her computer. The good news is the Parrot Palace rescued Tiki, she said. They took care of her. After many, many months, she had gotten better. Her feathers are growing back, and now we need to foster her, I said. I can't wait to find Tiki a forever home. Dad walked into the living room. Okay, I think we are ready, he said. I moved the table out of the guest room, Joss said. Tiki's cage is very big and needs a lot of space. Joss works at Happy Tails Rescue. She is the one who brings us animals to foster. She fostered Ollie before we adopted him. Yip, yip, yip. Ollie stared out the front window. He wagged his tail. Yay, Joss is here, I said. Dad took Ollie and put him in my room. We always do that when we get a new foster pet. Ollie is a good foster brother, but we can get too excited sometimes. It's important that the new animals get used to us slowly. I ran to the door and opened it before Joss rang the doorbell. Hi, Joss. We are ready for Tiki, I said. My breath came out like I had just run around the block. Hello, Kitty, Joss said. I'm glad you're so excited. Joss didn't have a box or cage in her hands. I didn't see a bird. I didn't see even one feather. I peeked behind Joss and looked at her truck. Where's Tiki? I asked. Joss smiled. Don't worry, she said. Tiki is in a bag carrier inside my truck. It's a cold day, so she will be okay until we set up her cage. I need her mom and dad to help me. I followed my parents and Joss to the truck. In the back was a huge black iron cage. It was taller than me. It looked heavy. No wonder Joss needed help. Joss' mom and dad moved the cage slowly up the walkway into our house. Good thing the cage was on the wheels. They rolled it into the corner of the guest room, next to the fountain. Inside the cage was a long perch made out of a tree branch. Food and water dishes were clipped to one side of the cage. On the top of the cage was another long perch. It looked chewed up. Joss went back out to the truck to get Tiki. I did a little happy dance. I couldn't wait to meet our new Cockatoo. Chapter 2. Hello, Tiki. Joss came back into the guest room with the pet carrier. Ready, Kita? She asked. Ready, I said. Joss opened the carrier. She held it up to the cage. Tiki came out head first. She hooked her beak on a bar of the cage. The rest of her body and feet followed. She was covered with light pink feathers. Oh, her feathers grew back, I said with a grin. She was missing some in the photo you sent us. Yes, Joss said. It took time, but Tiki is happier now. She has just one little patch of feathers left to grow. Tiki climbed to the top of her cage. She stood on the perch. Mom slowly moved her hand over to Tiki. The bird climbed onto Mom's hand. Mom wrapped her fingers lightly around Tiki's feet. Can I hold her? Asked in a whisper. Sure, Kitty, Joss said. Tiki is a sweet, gentle bird. To be safe, please handle her only with her mom or dad. Does that mean I can't come into the room without them? I asked. That made me sad. I wanted to get to know Tiki on my own. Of course not, Joss said. She put her hand on my shoulder. We want you to spend lots of time with her. She needs love and attention. Put out your arm, Kita, Mom said. Hold it steady. Tiki will reach out with her beak first, so don't be surprised. I yelled out my arm. Tiki reached her beak toward it. She didn't bite. Then she stepped onto me. Tiki gripped my arm with her feet. They felt warm. I giggled. Look at me. I'm a tree, I said. Hello, Tiki. Tiki blinked at me. I think that was her way of saying hello. Let's get her into her new home, Joss said. She took Tiki and put her into the cage. She filled one of Tiki's bowls with water. She filled the other with special parrot food. After Joss left, Mom, Dad, and I sat down for dinner. Ollie kept peeking into the hallway toward the guest room. I laughed. Ollie had never seen a cockatoo before. I said, Don't worry, Ollie. Tiki is a big bird, but she's really sweet. I couldn't wait to spend more time with our new foster pet, Joss said, to give Tiki alone time, though. I will try not to bother her right away. After dinner, Mom, Dad, and I sat down in the living room. Mom put Ollie on her lap. Dad turned on TV and started a movie. Squawk! Squawk! We all jumped. What was that? I asked. It wasn't coming from the TV. Ollie whined and tucked his head under Mom's arm. Squawk! Another screech hit my ears. Mom laughed. That's Tiki. Tiki is making that horrible sound? Dad asked. Mom's mouth moved, but I couldn't hear anything she said. Tiki squawked at the same time. Squawk! What did you say? Dad yelled to Mom. This is part of the reason Tiki's owner gave her up, Mom shouted. Cockatoos can be very loud. I got up and went to the guest room. Squawk! Tiki clung to the side of her cage and squawked. I think she's lonesome, Mom said from behind me. Can I skip the movie? I asked. I want to sit in here with her. Tiki stopped squawking. She cocked her head at me. I think she likes the sound of your voice, Mom said. Mom's word made me happy. She and Dad went back to watch the movie with Ollie. I sat on the fountain next to Tiki's cage. Tiki watched me quietly. After a few minutes, I got my sketchbook and started to draw her. I like to draw pictures of all our foster pets. Tiki stayed quiet. She ate her food. I sat with her and drew until bedtime. Chapter 3. Noisy Neighbor. Squawk! I sat up in bed. I had been sleeping, but now I was wide awake. It was 7 o'clock. It was the first day of a long weekend break from school. Ollie was wide awake too. He got off my bed by waddling down his little ramp. I pushed off the cover and hurried to the guest room. As soon as Tiki saw me in the doorway, she stopped making a noise. She nodded. Her crest feathers were raised. Dad came into the room. She quieted down earlier when I sat in here to draw, he said. But when I left to make breakfast, she got upset. My dad is a graphic artist. He makes things like ads and logos. Sometimes he works on projects at home. I'll hang out with her, I said. She'll like it. I got a blanket and curled up on the futon. Tiki stayed quiet. I slept until Dad called me for breakfast. At breakfast, Ollie slept under my chair. Mom buttered her toast. I stayed in my oatmeal. Dad slipped his orange juice. Ah! We all jumped. Dad spilled juice on his shirt. Tiki sure is loud, isn't she? He said, grabbing a couple of napkins. Yip, yip, yip. Ollie ran to the front door. The doorbell rang a few seconds later. Who could that be during breakfast? Mom asked. All three of us went to answer the door. It was our neighbor, Miss Sweet. Morning, Miss Sweet, I said. I liked her. She made the best strawberry jam. Hello, Kata, Miss Sweet said. Is everything okay, Viola? Dad asked her. I was going to ask you that, Tim, Miss Sweet said. What do you mean? Mom asked. That! Miss Sweet said loudly over Tiki's squawking. What is that noise? It sounds like someone is screaming in pain. Oh dear, Mom said. You can hear that from your house? Miss Sweet nodded. I'm sure the whole neighborhood can hear that, she said. Mom told Miss Sweet about Tiki. She promised we would do our best to keep Tiki quiet. She also told her that Tiki has a new foster pet. Tiki would be going to a forever home someday soon. Well, that's good, Miss Sweet said. I'm glad no one's in trouble over here. It's wonderful that you foster pets. But this one is very loud. After Miss Sweet left, Mom and Dad looked at each other. They didn't say anything right away. They just raised their eyebrows and nodded. Then Dad said, I'd better go talk to the other neighbors. I knew we would have to do everything I could to help keep Tiki quiet. I didn't want her brother bother our neighbors. I grabbed my pillow and some books and moved them to the guest room. I set up my things on the futon. Kata, what are you doing in here? Mom asked. I'm going to stay here with Tiki, I said. She likes to have someone with her. Are you sure you want to spend a long weekend break like that? Mom asked. I nodded. I wanted to make sure Tiki was happy, and I didn't want the neighbors to be upset about loud noises. I have an idea, Mom said, smiling. Call Hannah. See if her parents will let her spend the night at her house. Would you like that? That would be awesome, I said. Thanks, Mom. I always have fun when my best friend comes over. Hannah loves meeting our many foster pets. She was going to love meeting Tiki. Chapter 4. A show for Tiki. Yip, yip, yip. Ollie ran to the back door. Hen was here. Her parents had said she could spend the night at my house. I'll be right back, I told Tiki. Please don't squawk. Tiki was on top of her cage. She chewed on a wooden toy hanging from her perch. I ran through the kitchen and opened the back door. Ollie greeted Hannah. Hannah leaned down to snuggle Ollie. My best friend loves animals just as much as I do. Sometimes she just comes to the pet store with me to buy Ollie's food. We like to look at the pets for sale. We always wish we could take them all home. Thanks for coming over, I said. I picked up Hannah's suitcase. Squawk! Hannah dropped her sleeping bag. Ollie raced into the living room and hid under the couch. Was that Tiki? Hannah asked, her eyes wide. Squawk! Ah! I nodded. It was no use trying to talk over the squawking. Tiki was too loud. I waved to Hannah to follow me. We hurried to the guest room. As soon as we walked in, Tiki quieted. But she wasn't on her cage anymore. She was on the bookcase. Oh no, I cried. Tiki had chewed the wood on the top shelf. Dad poked his head in the doorway. What's wrong? He asked. I pointed to Tiki on the shelf. Dad shook his head and smiled. I'm not worried about the bookcase, Kata. It's old, he said, but it's not all kinds of wood are okay for parrots to chew on. We have to be careful. He got Tiki down and moved her back into the cage. Then he picked up the chewed wood pieces. He used a vacuum cleaner to get the smaller bits off the floor. Squawk! Squawk! Tiki seemed to like the sound of the vacuum cleaner. She squawked and bobbed her head like she was dancing. Hannah and I held our hands over our ears. When Dad turned off the vacuum, Tiki got quiet again. Hannah and I uncovered our ears. Whew, Hannah said. She looked at Tiki and smiled. You are a very pretty bird, Tiki, but you are also very loud. I went to the closet. We kept Tiki's treats in there. I handed a parrot biscuit to Hannah. You can give this to Tiki, I said. She'll love it. Here you go, Tiki, Hannah said. She held out the biscuit. Tiki cocked her head. Then she slowly made her way down from the top of the cage. She hung off the side closet to Hannah and gently took the biscuit with her beak. Then she went into her cage to eat it. She held the treat in one foot while crunching it with her beak. Our job is to give Tiki lots of attention, I said. Doing that keeps her from squawking. Tiki finished her treat and sat still on her perch. She watched Hannah and me carefully. It was like she was waiting for us to do something. I've got an idea, Hannah said. Let's put on a show for Tiki. What kind of show? I asked. One with lots of singing and dancing, Hannah said. Yes, I said. I went to my room and to get a couple of costumes. Hannah stayed with Tiki. As long as Tiki wasn't alone for too long, she didn't make noise. When I got back, Hannah was already singing. Tiki nodded along to the music. They were so funny. Bravo, I said. I handed Hannah a costume. She put it on. It was a long, sparkly dress, a necklace, a hat, and white gloves. Next, I put on my costume. It was Dad's old scoot. With a purple satin belt, I rolled up the pant legs so I wouldn't trip on them. Hello and welcome, Tiki the Cockatoo, I said in a booming voice. I held a hairbrush up to my mouth and pretended it was a microphone. Hannah giggled. Today we have a very special show, just for you. I continued. Here's the world-famous singer, Hannah Miller. Hannah bowed deeply. Thank you, Kata, she said. I'm so happy to be here. I will now sing my new song, Twinkle Tiki. I like her dress. Hannah made up a sweet song about Tiki. I danced around the room. Tiki bobbed her head. After the song, Hannah and I laughed and laughed. We sang some more. We told lots of jokes and made goofy faces. We laughed so much that we almost couldn't breathe. Mom walked into the room. Well, it sounds like you two are having a great time in here. she said. We are, Hannah and I said together. We looked at each other and laughed again. I think you tired Tiki out, Mom said. Look, Tiki's eyes were closed. Hannah, Mom, and I snuck out of the guest room. We closed the door behind us. Tiki stayed quiet while we all ate dinner. Afterward, Mom flipped open the fountain in the guest room. Hannah and I laid out our sleepy bags side by side on it. Mom said good night and turned off the light. I told Tiki and Hannah a bedtime story in the dark. Then we fell asleep. We're going to stop right here on chapter 5. And it's called What Is So Funny. But make sure to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Bye.